Hey guys, what's going on? My name is RedMaster, and welcome to the world of cards and castles. Now, before we kind of just get started, some of you might already seen the title. I kind of want to quickly explain what's going on because I feel like there might be some different viewerships that are watching this video. You could be a new player who is just starting out, looking online for some tricks and tips. You could be a returning subscriber of mine, wondering what kind of video this might be, and because a lot of you who watch me are, veterans to the game already, so you might be wondering why this kind of video is going out on my channel now. Or there might be some of you who are, maybe don't know who I am, but are struggling a little bit in the game and are looking, again, for some tricks. So not exactly new, but you are looking for some help and advice and don't already know about this channel already. So just want to kind of clarify something right now. This video is part of a little project I'm doing along with 2 additional videos, hoping to give some new players or struggling players a little help, a little advice on their way in the game. I know we have a decent lack of resources for new players to utilize, such as guides and advice. We do have a Discord, which is the best community source for you guys to join if you're looking to improve yourself, which I recommend joining. The link is down in the description. I think it's going to be the top one, at least for this kind of video and for the next 2 videos. But regardless, it's going, this video is going to probably be breaking down some things to help new players, struggling players, get a head start in the game, because I know, again, we don't really have that much of a up-to-date guide per se, and some things have certainly changed since the last time I did one of these, or these kinds of videos. So definitely something that I want to put out there, especially because it's the start of a new year. So giving everyone kind of this fresh start, I think, is something that might be well appreciated. So with that being said, we are going to look in the menu here, as you can see on your screen. This is the first screen. Well, not really the first screen, but this is where new players are going to be dropped off once they complete the tutorial set of missions when they first open the game, which teaches you about the bare bone basics, gold, card formats, how cards move, all that kind of stuff, the very bare minimum basics. But once you get to this screen, I know if I remember from the tutorial correctly, you are kind of just left on your own at that point to kind of just explore for yourself and see what's going on. So I want to break down this menu here and show you guys all the different things that you can do and some of the trips, or excuse me, some of the tips and tricks that I recommend for helping you guys get started in the game if you want to get a head start above some of the other players. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. Alrighty, so let's pick up where the tutorial kind of left off for you guys. It kind of showed you the quests and the battle very briefly, and I feel like I'm just going to touch upon them briefly as well, because I feel like they are pretty self-explanatory, regardless of, what game you're playing. So if you come over here to the battle tab, this is where you're going to be choosing your decks and kind of doing your general matchmaking for ranked competition. You won't have all these decks, of course, obviously. You'll be given these 3 starter decks to give you guys kind of an idea of the different play styles in the game. You could either go aggressive, defensive, or a mix of both with the balanced option. All of them are pretty solid decks, I would say. Nothing to really worry about in terms of, are these kind of just bad decks? I would not say that they are. The more you play into the game, though, you'll be able to make your own custom decks and, of course, move away from these just starter defaults. As you can see here, I have a ton of custom decks made. I've been here for so long. But essentially, you're going to be fighting for rank with these custom decks, as you can see by the skill ranking here. If we click, each deck has its own skill ranking. Complete 10 placement matches to receive the initial rank. Nothing too hard to understand there. If you play 10 matches, the more wins you get, the higher the deck will rank, and as you progress on and win more matches, you will receive higher rankings over the course of a season. A season, of course, being a span of 1 month. At the end of a month, you'll receive rewards based on your rank that you got with that deck, and be forced to play 5 more placement matches to re-rank a deck, and so on and so forth. I will say season rewards are pretty decent to grab if you are, especially if you're a new player who doesn't have a full collection yet. It's definitely worth playing rank. Even if you are ranking low, the more you play, the more you put into it, you will be rewarded over time with more of a collection, and that gives you more of an opportunity to play some of the more competitive decks and reach those higher ranking that you might want to look for. So, But, if you're not really playing for ranking initially, I still think there is a reason you should definitely be playing ranked, and that's for the quest tab, which is over here. And again, something that the tutorial kind of briefly touched up on for you guys. Now, obviously, you might have different quests when you're first starting out, but the more you progress into it, you'll be seeing quests like these, which are mainly factionized quests, forcing you to play or at least win matches with certain factions, such as at least win 3 with the pirates, win 1 with the ninjas, etc., and you receive rewards based on that. Usually it's silver, plus I think a few extra cards depending on the quest. So definitely worth picking up. I think although for starter players, the quest I think might be like win a battle or play a battle, and then like maybe win 3 or play 3, something along those lines that grants some packs. Which again, definitely worth pick up to start yourself off fresh. Always nice to see you get a card pack to make sure that you have a growing collection already in the game. So yeah, overall, and then the silver is something that I will explain to more when we get to the shop portion of this video. But I would say quests are definitely worth playing for, especially if you are a newer player. They give you some currency and some free cards, plus they give you something to do while you're kind of ranking your deck. Or if you're not initially playing for ranked, I recommend you play at least for the quest to build up your collection slowly, build up your currency, and then even then you can build up your collection slightly because these packs or at least certain packs are offered upon quest completion. It's definitely something to kind of grab your attention, at least when you're starting out. Alright, so now that you've played a battle or two, or if you haven't jumped into a battle and want to see what else there is to explore, where do you want to go first? Or at least where might you want to look? Well, I recommend going to the My Card selection just to get a feel for where you'll be hanging out mostly when you're not playing a couple of matches. Usually people will be down here making some decks, or at least editing what they currently have. As you can see, the cards right here are all the cards in your current collection. New players might not have a very big collection, but it'll still be here nonetheless, and show you guys all of the cards that you own, including the number down here, which is how many copies of the card you own. So say I have the Ramrus here, I own 3 copies of the Ramrus, I own 1 copy of a Shiny Questing Knight, etc. And while we're on the quick topic, Shinies I want to address, because I know some people personally ask about that, saying if they have any real benefit, seeing as how they're different from regular cards. The only benefit they have is that they look a bit shinier. They have an added visual animation or effect on it, which just makes it stand out more. Purely cosmetic, it has no gameplay advantage whatsoever. So just gonna put that out there right now. Shinies have no gameplay advantage whatsoever. But going up here, we also have a couple of different filters if you guys want to find a card directly without scrolling through your growing list, which it will grow over time, trust me. So if you ever want to find a certain card, you can go ahead, type in the name of the card. So Ramrus, I'll type in just for an example there. Or you can type in its keyword, initiative. It may not be a direct search, but you will see here, oops, sorry, I had to edit a space. You will see the Rammer show up here because it does have initiative within the card. So you can search for not only the names, but any sort of words that the card has. It'll show up in the search tab up here. You can also filter by gold cost, excuse me, how much a card costs, type the card that it is. It's either a spell or a unit, or what faction it's in. Faction dictated by the color of the card. So right now I'll show you blue, for example. If I want to look for battering ram, I can click Vikings, and it drops the green card you saw a moment ago. I can click Warlock, and it gives me the red one. I can click the Pirate, and it gives me the green ones, etc. So that's basically just a filter tab up there, nothing really super special. Though it does help, I do admit, when of course your collection starts to grow a bit more and you'll have to scroll, through a lot of different cards. It's easier if I can just type it in here and it shows up right there. But moving down, I already mentioned the card screen basically shows you all the cards in your collection, but down here is where you're going to be editing or making a variety of custom decks, if you will. So for example, let's go ahead and show what the deck process, or at least what the deck editing looks like. You'll be given a list of all of the cards that you currently have in a deck down here at the bottom of the screen once you click on a deck. You'll also be given options to play around with the deck a bit more in terms of changing the name or the castle skin that you want to show off when using the deck. I know some people like their castle skins, so again, a little cosmetic feature. The castles don't really provide any sort of gameplay bonus depending on what castle you use. Again, purely cosmetic. But down here, of course, you'll be doing a lot of deck editing and deck building, which we'll go into more specifics when we make the deck building video. I'll teach you guys a couple of things to know when you're making a deck, what some good card ratios are, how many cards to throw in a deck, how to build, like, all that good stuff. So we're getting that again later in the video, but just want to show you guys here where you're going to be deck editing. You also be given an option to craft if you want. Crafting is how you can make cards that you don't currently own using shards. Shards created from cards that you disenchant, meaning that you have maybe three or more than three copies of, and you don't need the fourth. You'll be breaking that down for additional shards, which can be used to purchase new cards that you want directly without having to go through the trouble of opening different packs and maybe not getting one. So I'd say crafting is sort of an iffy topic for new players because you don't really have a lot of resources to start when in terms of cards. So going directly for the shard count is something that I advise newer players to stay away from. I personally recommend opening packs and using those more to your advantage rather than jumping straight to shard count. If you have a lot of cards though that you maybe have purchased, or you figure you want to get rid of some cards that you feel like you'll never use, that you can do that as well. I just want to warn you though, shards are a bit of a dangerous thing to go into, especially if you are that newer player, because your resources are pretty limited to start out with. So be sure to not waste them all just going into shards and building up a few cards, especially since cards get pretty expensive the higher the rarity they are. Commons usually range from about 40, rares go to about 100, epics go to about 200, and if I can find a legendary in the list, legendary, they go around for about 800. So I would definitely be careful with how you tend to use your shards. So. But overall, card screen, not that bad. Collection, kind of straightforward from there. So let's go ahead and explore what else we've got. So now that you've played around with the card collection, you might be wondering, well, how do I obtain more cards other than crafting? If you recommend that we kind of stay away from that for now. Well, there are about 3 ways for new players to just immediately grab a few additional cards for them, and all 3 can be used. It's not like you use one and can't use the others. They're all usable in one way or another. So let's go ahead and start out with the shop, since I feel like that's probably going to be easiest to go over. The shop is where you pretty much buy packs for silver, the little silver point thing that you saw here in the quest tab, which is going to be the main currency in that shop. And seeing as how you're granted probably about 60 to 70 silver a day from completing both packs, you should have enough to buy at least one card pack every 2 days or so, or an enchanted pack, which it gives you cards from the latest release, which you can see a pack list for right around here. I recommend, though, you kind of go for the card pack, as card packs include more. Sometimes you'll see little bundles, such as the Black Market bundle, or if you scroll down here, there'll be some Challenger or Champion bundles if you guys decide that you want to save up your silver points and use them for a bigger purchase, if you will. You can buy silver as well if you don't want to wait around for the quest to show up. You can buy them for real currency, and that goes through whatever platform you're using. If you want to use iOS, Android, Steam, then you can, of course, get yourself some silver directly from the shop right here. If you click on this little info box, it'll give you some information regarding the pack contents if you guys want to read through that as well before opening. I know some people like to determine whether or not they have a good chance of getting a certain card. You can read up on that all within the pack content info tab as well on the shop. However, if you guys don't want to go directly to buying packs and that kind of purchasing ideology, then there are some free ways to grab some cards as well. And the first being practice. Now, practice I use as a tool myself as well for testing some different decks. If I want to learn the playstyle of a deck before I jump into rank with it, I come to practice mode for about 2 or 3 matches. But here is where you're going to be collecting the basic cards for all of the different factions. Now, I don't know if they're all locked at first, but I think the more you play down the line, you'll be able to unlock all these factions and get their basic cards for them. I think you might start with like Vikings and Druids as options to play, and then it kind of unlocks more as you go along. So once you beat each of the factions here, you'll be awarded their basic sets for their faction, which gives you a full 3 sets of all the basic cards within that faction. So just kind of for reference here, if I type in basics are cards with, no set icon on them. They don't have a rarity on them. So say if I just beat the Crusader faction and went over to basics, I'll be awarded all of these cards for completing the practice mode for the Crusaders. Same with the Vikings, as you can see here. Same with the Warlocks. Same with the Ninjas. It goes for every faction. You should have all the basics already for completing the tutorial. I believe they give you those right off the bat. But for the factions, you'll need to complete each of the practice spots in order to get yourself some free cards there. And again, they are 3 of, so 3 is pretty much like the max you can have in a certain deck of a certain card. So pretty much having 3 means you have a full play set of a certain card, which is not bad to grab. Also, there is one more way to collect. Unfortunately, this is going to be mainly for the Steam players only. If you guys do want to download it on Steam, though, it is a free download, and you can sync your account between mobile and Steam, so you can pretty much share the accounts as long as you have like the same username password set up. That way you can access the same account. But anyway, if you go up here, if you click your name, and if you are on the Steam version, you can enter a code here. If you enter code RedMaster, as typed out here, I can't use it because I've already entered the promo code. But if you guys enter this code, you'll be awarded 5 free card packs. I think I said plaques. You'll be given 5 free card packs plus an additional castle skin to use for your first or pretty much for your first time. It might be your first castle skin. I have no idea. I want to say first time, like I'm in some sort of commercial, but I'm not. So, use code RedMaster. You'll receive 5 free card packs, and that should set you up with some good, some decent cards to start yourselves off. In addition to, like I said, the basic cards from the practice spots and the cards you get from your quests. So. A pretty nice way to get yourself set up on some early cards to give yourselves an early head start. So, now that you've gotten a few more cards to add to your collection, what else is there to do? Because there are a bunch more buttons that I didn't really go over yet, and I feel like, it's worth showing to you guys what more is there to kind of grasp and understand from the game. Well, first of all, there's this news button, which is currently blocked by my face cam a bit here, but I'll click it right now. It should be where my face cam is currently positioned, around that area. And you'll open the news tab, which gives you the latest news regarding the game, from balance patches to expansions to any sort of news worthy of being posted here. You'll also be able to join the community links here, Discord and Reddit respectively. Discord, I definitely recommend you guys join if you guys haven't done so already. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's a great tool for new players if they want to learn more about the game. So definitely recommend joining the Discord. First and foremost, remember, link is in the description of this video as well if you don't have your game currently opened and can't click the button. So there's a news tab. There's also the friends tab while we're on the topic of other people, I guess, since, the community is other people. Here's the friends list, pretty much where you guys can challenge your friends to friendly matches and add them down here based on username plus this three number tag that each player has. You can also delete friends off your list if you don't want to, such as, well, I'm not going to remove this guy, but I can just go ahead and remove him if I wanted to. But again, simple friends list, add down here, type in their name plus their number, and that will send them a friend request. And then you can challenge them to a friendly match as well, judging by this fight tab, or no, not judging by the fight tab, shown by the fight tab. Sometimes I'm not good with words, guys. I do apologize for that. Sometimes say things and other things come out, but regardless, that's the Friends tab. You also have the Cards TV tab, which shows you guys matches between the, I believe it's players around the 2500 or more star level, if I want to remember that correctly, or 2500 ranking, if I remember correctly. If it even wants to load up. Do you want to load up? No? Okay. Cards TV doesn't want to. Okay, I had a little connection error. Okay, yeah, here's the Cards TV. Pretty much shows you matches between players with around 2,500 stars or more. And of course, some of these guys are no stranger to the leaderboards, as you can see here. Number 38, number 7, number 29. So pretty much a lot of competitive folks on the TV, which you can learn from and observe just by using Cards TV right along here. You also have the draft mode right below that, which I can't show you guys in detail now because it's not open, but it opens on the weekends from Saturday to Sunday. You can play draft mode to earn yourself a free pack for at least one win in that draft mode. And draft mode is essentially you using cards not in your collection, basically drafting random decks of about 25 cards to play. Sometimes it'll be a standard draft using at least one faction, or a rainbow draft using cards from every faction into one deck. So definitely recommend trying that out if you guys are new. It gives you an experience with a lot of cards that you might not own in your collection, and it lets you play without really hurting yourself any further. Plus, the more wins you get, the greater your rewards will be in that draft mode. Other than that, there's not really much else I believe to go over. I believe open packs, that's kind of straightforward. Here's where you can open any sort of card packs that you guys have collected over the years, over time. I don't know if you're here for years. I've been here for years, so kind of just rolls off the tongue there. And then here, if you click your name again, a lot of option things that you can use to manage your account, things like the sound, music, some different styles of play here, if you want to go full screen or not. I mean, I don't think mobile has this, but notifications, unit active style, you can change between grayscale and glow. Full screen for Steam players as well, and then there's a couple of things down here, like I said, the enter code, and then there's some account stuff as well, which you can use to manage your account between maybe if you have Steam and mobile, something that you can set up for. Stuff like email verification, password setup, all that good stuff can be done right down here in the account area. But I think with that being said, that's going to do it for the menu portion of this video. With that being said, guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys did find this helpful, be sure to give it a like, share it, and comment down below your thoughts. If you thought this was kind of helpful, if you guys want to maybe add more, if you're a veteran player, if you want to add more insight to this video that I think I left out, be sure to leave it in the comment section below so that way we can help the newer players as a community. Like I said, Discord, top link as well. Be sure to join that if you haven't done so already. And subscribe if you're new to the channel. That way you can help show your support and help us grow by clicking that subscribe button at no additional cost to you. I hope this video was, again, helpful to new players before I kind of sign out here. Be sure to tune in to the other two videos that I have planned, going more into match strategies and tips for the game itself rather than just me going over the menu. But I hope this was a decent way to help you guys start out, especially if you are new and want to get yourself a little head start. Hopefully some of the little tips and tricks that I kind of threw into the mix there were able to help you a lot. But only time will tell if that's going to be true. So, with that being said, guys, I want to do it for me for now. So until next time, stay gaming.